the more you understand your buyer and there's a market of buyer, then the easier it is for you to do deals. Okay, welcome back to video 2 in this land flipping masterclass series with Joe McCall. Joe?
Hey man, it's an honor to be here. You know,
this is fun.
You guys can't tell on the camera, but his views, oh my gosh.
They're pretty cool, aren't they?
It's crazy, it's beautiful.
But we're talking all about land and land flipping. If you guys missed video 1, we did a big overview as to why land is easier than houses in a lot of ways, why it's a massive opportunity. Yeah. We talked about different types of land deals. Really, it was just a good overview that hopefully got you excited for wanting to learn how to flip land. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this into a step-by-step process of how to actually flip land. Yeah. And what was really interesting in video 1, Joe, we talked about how, normally you think of the steps are, okay, great, I wanna do land. First thing I gotta do is go find a land deal. That makes sense, right? Logically, you would think that. But we're actually gonna take this a little bit different direction. And before we go look for land deals, meaning owners of land that we can make offers on, before we do that, first we need to understand the market. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spend the time on this video really showing you, okay, well, what are the land opportunities? Who are the buyers? What are they paying? What do they like? What's going on? Because when we understand the market of land, now we know, okay, well, these are the people that are buying land and what they pay and what they want. Now we can go find landowners and we know what to offer because we understand who our buyer is.
Well, you gotta follow the money. You gotta follow the money. You gotta see where is the demand. And it's not that hard to figure out. Well, we'll show people here in a minute on the screen how they can find where most of the properties are being bought and sold. Like I did this all the time with houses. Yeah. I'd find, in your backyard or find the hot zip codes, where all of the recent buyers have been buying properties. Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same for land. Yeah. Except they're at the county level now. And now when you find a good county where there's a lot of people buying land, then just go into that. It's like, I don't believe in the spray and pray approach to marketing. I want to be laser focused. Yeah. I want to follow, it makes everything so much easier.
You want the sniper approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what we're gonna do then is what's great is Joe's actually gonna pull up the exact resources he uses and teaches and where to go get this data.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be fun, guys, because we're gonna be doing some screen capture here and we're gonna actually show you how to do this. It's not, we'll go find a land buyer. No, we're gonna show you where they are, what they're doing. And so that's gonna be really valuable because it's now what you need to do, right?
And it's free. So Jerry, here we are, LandWatch. Landwatch.com.
Landwatch, okay.
It's owned by the land.com websites. They have like 2 or 3 or 4 different ones. But the cool thing about this is Landwatch, the land.com websites are the most popular websites for listing land. And so all we're doing now is we're going to find what are the most popular states that have a lot of land transactions. And then which are the most popular counties inside of those states.
And if somebody was in a specific state and they wanted to do their market, they could just go straight to their market and look at the county.
Yes and no, right? Okay. Like if you live, somebody asked me once, a student, hey, can I do land deals in Ohio? And I said, yeah, sure. Do people go hunting and camping in Ohio? Yeah, there's new home construction in Ohio. But if you look at the entire U.S., because we do all these deals virtually, we didn't talk about that before. We don't go look at the houses or vacant lots. We don't go drive. We don't do anything to them, right?
Yeah, there's nothing to go look at but a piece of dirt, really, right?
And it's going to be the same there tomorrow. Nothing. There's no mold remediation. There's no lead-based paint and stuff like that. Well, so I'd rather, you could do deals in Ohio if you wanted, but what if, it just makes your job a lot easier if instead you focus on the states where there's already a lot of activity happening.
Okay.
And so LandWatch is my favorite place to go to look at this. So if you just click on, from LandWatch, you just click on this orange button, it pulls up the entire U.S. and you see all of the states here. Now I like the cheaper land. So sometimes I just go in here and I say, all right, show me all of the land in the entire U.S. that's listed actively for sale right now for less than 150 grand. And you can see the states that are ranked here. Florida's number 1. Texas, North Carolina, Georgia.
And these are
Arkansas.
Listings.
These are active listings,
okay.
Right?
You and could are these all with agents or not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So the thing that's interesting with LandWatch, it's just a place where people go to list their vacant land.
So they could be by owner.
It could be by owner. But also when you look at solds, if I go down here to the lower left and I click solds, these are only properties that were marked as sold from somebody who listed it on LandWatch. Okay, so it's not sold from county records. So you just have to be aware of that, right?
So you guys catch that. So it's just the sold data on LandWatch.
Yeah.
So there could be additional comps and things that happened.
And you don't know how long ago it was sold. LandWatch doesn't. It could have been a year ago.
Oh, it doesn't tell you.
No. But all I care about here is actually, I'm going to remove the sold. So now all we're looking at is in the entire U.S., every property that's currently actively listed for under 150 grand. And you can see Florida's number one, then Texas, North Carolina. So I like to focus on the top 10 to 15% of any list that I'm kind of looking at.
And again, all we're looking for here is data that tells us where land activity is happening.
Yeah, where we're going to go pull a list of sellers to send marketing
Okay.
to. Now, Texas is awesome. God bless Texas. But it's a non-disclosure state.
Which makes it hard to do research.
Hard to get comps.
Non-disclosure, guys, means that when a property sells, they don't have to put the sold price data, which means now if you go to like look on Zillow and stuff, you'll see it sold, but you won't know the details, right? Yeah. So there's like 12 non-disclosure states. Is there any other in that top list?
No, they're all good. What's
Those
crazy,
are all disclosure states.
Look at Arkansas, number 5.
Arkansas, yeah. So people just want to go rural there,
well,
right? I mean, is that
let's
the idea?
look at Arkansas. You click on the state, Arkansas, now it takes you, and what you see here on the left are the regions, and then...
Regions is not county, okay.
Then the counties, and it sorts the counties by most active counties.
What valuable data right here.
So like Benton, do you know where Benton County is? Arkansas? All right, this is crazy. We'll go look at Google Maps here.
I don't think that's on my top 10 places to visit, Joe.
Well, it might be after you... Benton, Arkansas. Oh,
no offense if you live in Benton, Arkansas, but that sounds pretty rural.
All right, Benton, Arkansas. It's up in the northwestern county, the northwestern part of the state.
Where is it?
So there's
Arkansas.
There's Benton. You know where? Have you heard of Walmart?
Walmart?
Walmart's headquarters is in Benton County. You know what else? J.B. Hunt, the big trucking company, and Tyson Foods.
Are you trying to pitch me to move to? So where's your next biggest city from here?
Well, Bentonville's big, right? But I don't know. Your next biggest one maybe
scroll out a little bit.
Little Rock.
Oklahoma City's way over there. Little Rock, okay.
Yeah.
But those are a good 2-3 hours.
But this whole area here is gorgeous. Like
so
there's
this
a
is
bunch
the
of
Ozark National Forest.
Right. So there's a bunch of these beautiful lakes, a lot of natural spring-fed springs and rivers that are crystal clear. You can see down 15 feet. So it's beautiful out here. Lots of coves, very hilly. But
so do you think people in these bigger cities are commuting for their getaway?
This is what's crazy about land is I like the areas where people will go to buy recreational land to maybe camp and like we talked about before. But the crazy thing about this area is J.B. Hunt, Walmart, and I think Tyson Foods. I hope I got those 3 right. They're exploding. They're hiring a ton of people. A ton of people are moving there, from the West Coast, from the the New York areas, and it's incredible, beautiful. But it doesn't matter what I think, how beautiful it is or how nice it is. I'm just going again to the data. And Benton County right now is telling me there's a lot of activity there. So the next thing I like to do is go to Redfin. You're a big Redfin fan.
I love Redfin, yeah. Of all the Freeze ones, they're my favorite.
Yeah. And so let's just look here. Benton County, Arkansas. And I like to look at sold activity here.
And you're going to land only, guys.
So I'm going to home type.
Watch what he's doing. Click land.
Sometimes you have to do it twice. But I don't care about the houses. I just want land. All right. And I'm going to go here to solds in the last 3 months. Done.
Look at that. Very recent.
621 vacant lots sold in the last 90 days. In
that county.
In Benton County.
Go 6 months. I'm just curious. Because with land, I mean, you could go back 6 months and that's still very relevant data. 1,000.
Now, we'll look at Florida next. I want to show you Florida because it's
probably 10 times.
It's crazy what's going on there. Now, from here, you can see what's being the purchase price of these properties. People are buying these lots for 7, 12 grand, 6, 12. So, somebody who's selling this one for 28, if it's an investor, they're probably buying it for 5. Somebody who's selling this, if it's an investor, they maybe bought this one for 500. Or sometimes they maybe buy it for $3,000 and sell it for $6,000 on owner financing to get the payments, right? So you may think, who on earth buys this land? I don't know. We'll find that out in a minute here, but the fact of the matter is, yeah, you could go pick your county that you like to go camping in Ohio, but if I were to go into that county that you like, there's probably only maybe 100 vacant lots that have sold there. Why not follow the demand? So, you could go through all these counties. What I like to do is pick a state and then look at each of these counties, write it down on a piece of paper, write down Benton County, and you see in the last 6 months, 1,050, all right? Then go to the next county, Garland County. I don't know where that is. Let's look at it here. I'm going to guess it's near that same area.
And this is the second highest county for listings on LandWatch in Arkansas.
Right. All right, so you can see we were just up there a minute ago. This is Little Rock. So this is an area probably people from Little Rock like to go on vacation.
Not that far from Little Rock.
Right. And one of the things we didn't talk about, there's a huge trend lately on glamping or hip camp. Have you heard of hip camp?
Yurts.
Yeah, where people buy land and they do like Airbnbs with it, but for camping.
Yeah.
They'll put out some facilities and places where people can put, So I'm going to guess there's a lot of that going on here. You've got this beautiful lake, and normally I see the darker green. That usually means it's a national forest or parks, and it's pretty out there. So Garland County, let's see what kind of land activity has happened in Garland County, Arkansas here. Garland County, Arkansas. 278 vacant lots have sold in the last 6 months. Now, not as much before as Benton, but, let's just pick another state. We'll get out of Arkansas here. I want to show you Florida as an example. Lots of listed activity here. If we click on Florida, you can go see some of the hottest counties. Look at the numbers here. 5,600 active listings right now in Lee County. Do you know where that is?
No.
All right. Let's go into the Google Maps. It's right there, Fort Myers.
Cape Coral? Where is it? Oh, Fort Myers. Okay.
A lot of activity going on in this part of Florida right now. There was a hurricane there just a year ago or something, maybe.
I love Fort Myers and Naples.
All right, so let's look here on Redfin, Lee County, Florida. And the cool thing about Redfin is that you can just keep on switching different counties. Look at this.
Wow, 5,000 actives right now, right?
No, those are
solds.
solds.
Okay,
solds last 6
months.
months.
6 months land.
You kidding me?
5,200
vacant land. Now, you could go into more filters if you wanted.
So a lot of these are infill lots, right? These aren't recreational lots, really.
So if you were to go deeper into the data, you would find that maybe in Benton County, Arkansas, the average is 1 acre.
I'm curious. Put that filter in. Just put minimum on the acreage.
Let's do max, maybe half acre.
Yeah, I was thinking the other way. Like how many?
So now it's 4,900. So
go minimum 1 acre. I'm just curious how many of these are big parcels. So minimum 1 acre.
146.
146. Yeah.
So if you're targeting this area. This is why this research, you can do it for free. You don't want to go into Lee County and pull a list of all the 1+ acres, right? So you also, what I do, and I'll show this to you later, is in PropWire, I don't go in and, I want to do like 0.2 acres to 1 acre maybe, right? Because that's where most of the properties are being.
What this is telling me is that most of these are going to be infill lots. And so the play here is someone wants to buy it and build on it.
Exactly.
Because it's just a hot market for growth.
Yeah.
So then all these lots are selling to probably builders and buyers that want to put a house up, know.
Yeah. 4,600 homes between about 0.2 acres and 0.5 acres.
Yeah.
And
which is the majority, which is a good price. 80% of them.
Well, most of these are just like this.
Yeah. Just little infill lots.
Now somebody's thinking, well, are you serious? Like, how do you make any money on our average profits? About $8,000 on a deal. So I like to shoot. We'll talk about this when we talk about making offers. I try to get a minimum profit of $10,000 on every vacant land deal I do. And then when I sell them on owner financing, I try to get a minimum of 100% cash on cash return in my first year. So if I put $1,000 into the deal, I want to get at least $1,000 back So I get my money back in the first year. That's my
Which
goal.
is easy. I mean, what is that, $100?
Yeah. Well, okay.
A month?
Worst case, I do 50% cash on cash return, right? So I remember when I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, great book, but starting to study real estate, man, I was happy. You're happy to get 10 to 12% return on your money in the first year, right? With debt and leverage and all of that. Well, what if you could get 50% or 100% cash return on your cash on these land deals? So like most of these are being sold with cash, but again, you put this thing on the market for 15 grand with owner financing, you get flooded with calls.
It's going to sell like hotcakes.
People, people buy cars on payments. Like, people like, that's how you advertise this. And so anyway, the whole point of what we're sharing here is where is the demand? And it's so easy to get this for free now on sites like LandWatch and Redfin and Zillow. But I still get the student who says, man, I live in Akron, Ohio, and I love going camping in this certain area. Can I do land deals there? And I say, yeah, but when you're looking at, let's just look here again. All right, so North Carolina, there's 16,600 in the last 6 months, vacant lots. Well, if you go into Ohio, nothing wrong with Ohio, they only have 4,200.
In the whole state.
In the whole state that is sold last year.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful state, right? So you can do deals in Ohio, but wouldn't it be better maybe to go to a state like Georgia, where there's maybe 7,700 vacant lots?
But go back to Ohio for a second, because here's how I would respond to that. So, any market works for flipping as long as you understand the market and you have enough data to support it.
Yeah.
So like look at up here, the northeast east corner.
Yeah.
That's the biggest cluster of activity. If you were like, you know what, I want to go play around in that market, great. Just understand the numbers.
Yeah.
Get enough data to feel confident about what the market's doing, and you can play there.
Well, yeah, and so what I would do is I would go into LandWatch, and I would type in the
Northeast,
state, Ohio.
Okay.
So now I'm looking at Ohio, all the cheap land.
And just like we saw, Northeast region.
Yeah, that's the most popular.
Is the most popular.
And the most popular county, Stark County. I'm not sure where it is, but it just lists all the counties here. And if you click on See More, you can see all the counties where all the activity. So this is just a place to start from, right?
So here's a different thought, Joe, from what you're saying, because I totally agree with you. Go where the action is. Sometimes if you go not where the action is, you've almost completely eliminated competition as well. But you're playing in a smaller pond.
There's fewer buyers, there's fewer realtors that can help you, and it's harder to get comps.
So understand the trade-offs.
It doesn't matter what I think of how beautiful the area is or if I would want to buy anything there. I'm just looking at the data. Who's buying out there? What are they buying? And then I'm going to fish in the same pond where all the fish are with the bait that is needed to catch those fish. If that makes sense.
You're not trying to catch the one-off fish, swimming by. You're trying to go to the fishing hole where all the fish are hanging out.
So maybe I can just wrap it up with this. Like what I tell people is, find a couple states. People sometimes stress about getting the right market. I got to get the best market, the right market, and then it takes them forever to pick the one county or whatever. I say, no, listen, just pick one or two states. You don't need to stress out about picking the right market. Pick a state, pick 5 counties in that state, and just go deep into those counties, right?
The more you understand your buyer and there's a market of buyer, then the easier it is for you to do deals. So I have people bring me, I personally refer to this as like try to stump Jerry, where what they'll do is they'll bring me just the weirdest thing.
I hate those.
The weirdest thing.
No.
Like, hey, I got this this commercial space, but it's also got a residential house, and then it's also got a barn that they're doing, and it's just the weirdest thing. And they're like, but I can get it for a great deal. And my question is always, who's your buyer?
Yeah.
Is there like one buyer in the entire world for that property? Then you're gonna have a really hard time selling them. Look at property where there's a really strong buyer market.
Here's the deal. Selling these vacant lots are a lot easier than people realize. All you need to do is really just get on the phone. Well, I do a couple things, and we'll talk about this. There's so much to talk about, and this is so good. But like, I will call realtors. I'll skip trace buyers, call buyers. I talked to one the other day who was driving in a car in New York. You could hear the horns blaring and all of that. And he had just bought a property near when I was negotiating. I don't remember if I got that deal or not, but I was demonstrating how easy it is to find these buyers. Anyway, I called the guy and I said, hey, Jim, I think you just bought a property recently in this area. And he's like, how did you get my number? I said, well, listen, it doesn't matter. But are you looking for more properties like that? And he said, yeah, I am. And I said, well, cool. I know you're driving. I got your name and number here. I'm going to send you some details. Is that cool? And he said, yeah, okay, great. Just with like
that.
one phone call, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy to find those buyers, call them, call the realtors. I also have this letter that I send. Should I include this in the land kit?
I mean, your land kit's like massive with cool resources.
Because my goal is to have a better kit than yours.
Yeah, you might have already done it, but...
All right, so I'm going to add something else into this kit. I'm going to add, you send a desperate, motivated seller, yellow, handwritten letter. I have one that I send pretending I'm this desperate, motivated, I call it my desperate, motivated buyer letter. So I'm sending a handwritten letter to other buyers that own land in this area. This thing kills. It just says, help, I'm desperate. I've got to sell this property. I've had it listed for some time now. I can't wait any longer. Take a look at it. Call me right now. Taxes are paid. Title is clear. I need this thing sold today. I underline it. I put my name and cell phone number on it.
And you're sending this to landowners.
Yes. This letter works like crazy. It's a desperate
Why
motivated.
do they call? What do they say?
Well, it's funny because I get a lot of calls that say, I know what you're doing, right? I know you're an investor. And I love this letter. It's I'm going to use it. I get a lot of those calls, but they're also like to tell me about the property. It works phenomenally well. I'll include the letter in the kit if that's all right with you guys.
Well, yeah. Joe, you're awesome. Thank you. Guys, click that link below. It's Joe's land flipping toolkit. It's got a ton of resources. Everything to help you get your first land deal in as little as 30 days. That's how quickly you could be doing deals. And this has been awesome, Joe, because we really, you laid it out so well how to understand where to go to find land deals based on market demand, using LandWatch and Zillow and Redfin to really understand what's going on with the market. So hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. I think you're so spot on with land. Houses a little bit less because you just know there's a buyer because it's houses.
Right.
But with land, I think you really want to understand that land buyer, your ideal buyer, before you start going and getting land deals.
Yeah, it's important because
we talked about the market. Now in the next video, let's talk about the buyer. I think that's powerful. Awesome. Check out the toolkit, guys. Link in the description. Thanks, Joe. We'll see you guys on the next video.